bright summer night in 2010, a 19-year-old girl is walking home. Cameras trace her steps nearly the entire way, until suddenly they don't. Iwona Wieczorek was almost home, but something or someone stopped her. How does a person disappear in plain sight, leaving behind nothing but questions? Welcome to Crimes Across Borders. My name is Cora, and today we are diving into Poland's most haunting unsolved mysteries, the disappearance of Iwona Wieczorek. This case was a maze of missteps from the very beginning, police missing crucial information, crucial details, friends withholding key information, and stories shifting from the start. The sheer number of theories in this case makes it so hard not to get frustrated. There are still new leads coming up even after all those years. And it begs the question, was it just incompetence, or perhaps there's something more deliberate behind it all? If you're new here, be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into true crime and unsolved cases. This video will probably be done in 2 parts. I think I could talk for a day and a half and still miss details that I think that are important to this case. And now let's get into it. Iwona Wieczorek was 19, bright and well-loved by her family. Smart and full of life, she was facing some common young adult challenges. People say she had a strong character and she wasn't one to shy away from confrontation, but also made friends easily and loved to party. In 2010, Iwona passed her high school graduation exams and was set to start university in the fall. She applied to multiple universities, but she was particularly interested in studying international relations at the Maritime Academy in Gdynia. She also planned to take a driving course and was looking forward to a vacation in Spain, which was meant to be a reward for her studies and the beginning of her adult life. Tragically, Iwona never found out that she was accepted into her dream university. The acceptance letter arrived just 2 days after her disappearance. On July 16, 2010, Iwona was set to party in a very new, trendy nightclub in Sopot. She got ready at her friend's place, a 17-year-old Adri. Later on, they were supposed to be picked up by Paweł, a 22-year-old friend who had connections in Dream Club, and he promised girls that he will not only be able to actually get them in the club, which normally was just for people over 21, but also said that they will be able to party in the VIP section. When Paweł picked them up, at first they went to buy some alcohol and they went to do some pre-gaming drinking at the allotment garden that belonged to Paweł's grandma. During this time, Iwona already got quite intoxicated. She texted one of her other friends saying, I am already drunk, and then at first I think it was I'm tipsy and then I am drunk. She also received some news about her ex-boyfriend. One of her friends texted her that she's seen Patrick partying and with other girls in a nearby club called Banana Beach Club. And it seems like this put Iwona in a pretty bad mood, because once they got into the Dream Club, she was set to argue with her friends a lot. We don't know exactly why, because some people say it was because of this news. She was annoyed that her ex-boyfriend kind of already moved on and was partying with other girls. There are a lot of other stories, and the bizarre thing is that the friends that were with Iwona partying, they didn't want to tell anyone what they were arguing about. In one of the interviews, Iwona's mom repeated the conversation she had with Adri, the friend that was there with Iwona. She said, like, so what happened? Did you fight over, did you argue over a guy? Or maybe Iwona was annoyed because someone touched her or pushed her in the club and she started being a bit aggressive or something like this. And Adri would just say, oh no, it was silly stuff. I don't remember, it was silly stuff. So I understand that they were all drinking, and if they were drinking a lot, perhaps, memory is quite fuzzy. I still find it a little bit strange that they were not giving any hints of what actually happened. Some of the witnesses are saying that Iwona was partying with other guys in the club, not with the group that she came in. Some are saying that she was really jealous of the attention Adri was getting from Paweł and the guys from the group that they came in. The biggest reason why she would be upset, of course, is because of her ex-boyfriend. So a little background story with this. So Iwona and Patrick met each other at some random party, and they started dating. But quite early into their relationship, they discovered they are actually related. He was the son of a cousin of Iwona's mom. So of course the family wasn't really supportive of this relationship. They were trying to convince them to break up. And eventually they decided that this is the right thing to do. So despite the feelings that were there, they did break up. So it wasn't really a clean breakup. So I can understand why there could be a lot of unresolved issues, jealousy, and so on. So Iwona was irritated in the club, and she left the club twice. The first time she left, and the friends followed her out, and they managed to calm her a bit, and they went back inside. And then they left the second time, and this time I think at least one of them, Pavel, followed her outside, because there's a witness who says that he tried to grab her hand, but she said to him, "Let me go or I will scream." And eventually she left. Just a few minutes after, the whole group left the club as well. When her friends left the club, they went towards the tram station. They were expecting Iwona to be there as well, as they knew she doesn't have money for a taxi. She was supposed to sleep at Adri's place that night, so all her belongings were also at Adri's place. But they didn't find Iwona there. And during this time, Adri was texting Iwona. Iwona at first told her that, "Don't bother, I'm already home," which they knew it's not true, because given the time it would take Iwona to get back home, it was just impossible. Eventually, Iwona said that she will wait for Adri at one of the beach entrances on a promenade. But the girls argued, and Adri never went to meet her. The next text she receives from Iwona, by that time she's already in a taxi on the way home. They talk about the fact that Adri will leave Iwona's bag on the balcony so she can pick it up once she gets there. This is a method they used before. They were neighbors, and they would often swap their things, leave something on the balcony, and that way they didn't have to wake up anyone in the house. At 3:33 in the morning, Adri receives a message from Iwona saying something along the lines, "They're bothering me for nothing." It's written in a slang, something more like, it doesn't make sense in English, but like, "They bothering me for shit." She doesn't say anything else about this, and in the meantime, she also texts other friends. She texted her best friend 2 times asking her to call her back. She texts random other friends, mainly guys, asking them where they are, what they're doing. And she also texted Pavel multiple times as well. At 3:42, the girls have a short phone call, and that's when they decided to use that method that Adri will leave the bag on the balcony. 4 a.m. in the morning, Adri sends Iwona another text just to confirm that her things are waiting for her on the balcony. This message was actually never received, but at this point, Iwona's phone was dead, turned off. Adri wasn't worried because she knew Iwona's battery was running low, so she was kind of expecting this. Just after this time, Pavel also tried to call Iwona multiple times, but her phone was already off. According to security cameras, Iwona wasn't rushing home. She was walking at a steady pace, but timing between the camera sightings suggests that she stopped multiple times on her way. The first recording of her was at 3:08 in the morning. She was walking from the club past some restaurants towards the seaside promenade. The last confirmed sighting of her was at 4:12 a.m. That was near the 68th exit to the beach. It was just 2.5 kilometers from her home. By this time, it was fairly bright outside. There were still people out and about, but yet somehow no one ever seen her again. Iwona started her walk in a city called Sopot, and it's basically connected to another city where she lived, Gdańsk. It's connected by a beautiful promenade. You can walk the whole way by the sea. I actually lived near there, near Iwona's place, for a short while, and that area is really nice, and in the summer it's a very touristic place, and the whole promenade along the whole promenade, there are restaurants and cafes and clubs. So there are people even at this time. There are people who are coming back from parties, or they are finishing their shifts. There are people that are starting their work, so they go because they either work there or they use that path. Perhaps they go to work by bike and they use that path because it's just so pleasant. And there's a nice bike lane as well. And there are tourists who are starting their day, people going for a morning jog or swim, or yeah, there's always someone around. So it is not completely weird that a young girl decided to take that walk home. As seen on the security cameras, Iwona passed other people during her walk, but nothing seemed out of ordinary. She also passed the villa of a local businessman where she had reportedly attended parties before. And it was right next to the Banana Beach Club, the same club where her ex-boyfriend was spotted that night. So the last confirmed sighting of Iwona is by the 68th exit of the beach. At this point, there were multiple ways she could go, and it's unclear which direction she took, if she went straight towards the big pier and then down onto the main path that would take her home, or if she took one of the smaller paths and kind of did a shortcut towards her home through the Regent's Park. Her friends believe that she would take one of the smaller roads through the park, especially that it was the road that they would usually take together. It was the quickest path. It was also going through the picnic area in the park where her other friends had a bonfire party that night, and she was invited to that party, and if she didn't party in the dream club that night, that's where she would be. So there's a high chance that she was maybe hoping that some of her friends are still there. Another thing I wanted to add here, the park is completely closed off from the traffic except authorized vehicles. In this case, it was vehicles like a police or ambulance and a cleaning company that had a contract with the city for maintaining the park. But this is something we'll revisit later on. So now let's talk about what happened after. As we know, Iwona didn't come back home. Her mom wasn't expecting her to be back home. So she woke up pretty early in the morning. She was meant to go to work. She wasn't worried that Iwona is not home or didn't text her because she knew she's staying at Adri's place and she was most likely just sleeping off the hangover. She did say in an interview that she was slightly annoyed at the fact that Iwona took her brand new heels without asking. It is something that created a lot of controversy as well. Not sure what to think about it, but we'll get to this point. So the mom, when she's seen the heels missing, she does call Iwona, but again, her phone is off. She's annoyed, but not enough to actually do anything about it. It's just the shoes, after all. She goes to work. Before she leaves, though, there is a phone call on the landline. And it's one of Iwona's friends, not a friend that was out with Iwona last night, just a different friend. And this friend is asking the mom of Iwona if Iwona is home because she was supposed to meet her at the beach to play volleyball. And this is really early in the morning. We're talking between 7, 8 in the morning. And this struck Iwona's mom as really, really strange because Iwona wasn't an early riser. She had plans to go to the beach club for a while. It wasn't such a spring of the moment that she wouldn't have time to cancel other plans. And it was out of the character for Iwona to make overlapping plans and actually not go or not notify her friend that she's not going to be somewhere. But just the fact that she would make these plans was already just strange for her. And that made her a little bit worried as well, like why this friend is calling me asking, like, you know, she said Iwona is at Adri's and they partied, they sleeping. During this time also the dad of Iwona, her stepdad, mentioned to Iwona's mom that last night around 4 in the morning, he did hear someone calling Iwona's name outside the window. So they live on like a small neighborhood of not houses, but like twin houses or like little apartments where you have 6 flats, then you have like a little bit of garden and another 6 flats together. So a little complex like this. And it was very hot, the windows were open, so it's possible that he would hear the girls coming back home because Aji lived just nearby. They were neighbors, and he heard someone shouting, "Iwona, Iwona." And he didn't go to check. He kind of just assumed that it means the girls came back home, and they're just sleeping off. So Ivana Mams went to work fairly early in the morning. She was working and she had her own beauty salon in Sopot, actually quite near the Dream Club. And while she's there, a man comes in and he kind of looks around. He's a little bit weird. He says he wants to book an appointment for his aunt. He makes the appointment, he leaves. And it was a little bit weird, but obviously some people are weird. And Iwona's mom says like an hour or so later, the same man comes in again, but this time with another person, a girl that Iwona's mom knows that it's Iwona's friend. And they introduce the other guy, that it's one of the guys that was actually partying with Iwona last night. And they came in to ask if Iwona is here or if the mom of Iwona knows where Iwona is. That was that moment for Iwona's mom when she really started to be worried. She could not understand why they would be so worried. Like, if Iwona just doesn't pick up her phone, why they would assume that something's wrong. She said that this is not the first time they would come back and sleep off a party, and that normally they weren't this kind of friends that would immediately check on each other even if they came back home separately. I know it's not a thing for everyone. There's a lot of people that would always, text their friends the moment they get in or the moment they wake up, no matter how drunk or tired or late it is, they would check on each other. But Iwona's mom said, it wasn't even the friends, it was Iwona's mom that said they would normally not do anything like this, especially that group. Iwona knew Adri pretty well. They weren't best friends, but they knew each other. But the rest of the group, it was fairly new friends. So I guess that there wouldn't be this kind of bond of checking in for each other and worrying each other this way. So she did find it weird, and it did explain the phone call. This guy said that he asked this other friend of Iwona to make up the fake beach appointment to call the house to see if Iwona's there. And that's a really worrying thing, because why would he think already so early to even check if Iwona's home? It kind of like suggests that straight away that they were just so worried that Iwona wouldn't be home, like they knew something. At the same time, like it doesn't seem like they did something to her, because then they wouldn't need to check if she's home. But it is like they did suspect something more than just, she got mad at them and went home by herself. At this point, the friends that came and Iwona's mom, they go straight to the police to report her missing. And as you can imagine, the police was completely chilled about it. They were like, you're panicking. Iwona's an adult. She probably got drunk and stayed at another friend that you don't know about, or she found a guy. She's gonna party for a few more days and then she's gonna come back home. Except she didn't come back home. And the police didn't actually take this case seriously for over a week. I think on the 8th day, it was when they officially decided to report her missing. They still didn't do much. The security recordings, the cameras from the clubs and the restaurants that Iwona was possibly passing on the way, were not secured by the police at all. Some of them they were eventually, but some of them they were erased by the time they arrived. They were told like, oh yeah, we have it, but we would have this footage, but at this, like after like 2 weeks or something like this, it's erased and it's overwritten by the new footage. Some of the other footage, like the footage from the club, was actually first accessed by by Paweł, this friend that Iwona went out with, which by itself obviously doesn't mean anything, but it is again quite interesting that he was more keen and checking the security footage. He thought, like a random guy thought of checking this before the police. Also, it means that footage is not pure. As I mentioned before, there were some theories that the security cameras, the footage was possibly altered. And it is interesting that in this case, that one piece of evidence that very often is really, really important, because we can see with our own eyes a person and what happened and when they went. That footage, there's not like this 100% insurance that, I mean, it never is, but even more so when you know someone who's possibly involved already accessed it before. As I mentioned before, Pavel did have some connections in a dream club, so just a few days after, he went in and he checked the footage by himself. So he was the first one before even the police accessed it. There was still a lot of other footage missing. For example, there are cameras on Iwona's in Iwona's neighborhood around her, the complex where she lived. Those cameras were never secured. I think they were either overwritten or the police didn't secure them and they're gone, or maybe they have them, there's nothing on them. But I think officially right now is that they did not secure them for like a really long time. Maybe they did check them later on, if they were still there. But I know for a fact, for the first like a year at least, that wasn't checked. Which again, why? Like such a basic, things to check all the cameras on the way where that person could be. So I did mention that this case is going to be really, really frustrating. So get ready, because it's not the end of all the frustrating bits and pieces. During the course of the investigation, over 40 people were subjected to a lie detector test, with reports of quite a few of them not passing it. There was many people who were interviewed and interrogated as well, but some of them was months and even years after, including that key group of people. They weren't interviewed straight away, which obviously allows people to forget key details. It allows people to set their story straight. There was a lot of inconsistencies in the interviews with the friends and the family. Well, mainly the friends. Obviously, as it goes for like random witnesses, if you're being interviewed 6 months after some drunken night on a holiday, you're not gonna remember if the blonde girl went right or left, even if you've seen her. So this is really disappointing that police didn't start interviews earlier on. One of those people that suffered serious memory loss was the ex-boyfriend of Iwona, Patrick. When he was interviewed, he really couldn't remember much. His answers were mainly, I don't know, I don't remember, I think I was sleeping, I was probably on the way back home, but I'm sure I was in bed. And this shifted, this story changed a few times, because each time the police confronted him with some new evidence, saying that his phone pinged somewhere else at this time when he was saying he was already sleeping, or he called, there was a phone call at this time, he would be like, yeah, then we probably went for a drive, and then I was probably sleeping. So his story changed at least 3 times. He also completely refused being in this Banana Beach club that night. He did say that it does ring a bell and he was probably in that club at some point, but he categorically refused being there that night with partying with any girls. That was the one thing he could remember. Everything else he couldn't, but that was the one thing he was sure that night he was not there. 3 days after Iwona's disappearance, he also kind of disappeared for 3 days. And he was found, he was not found. He eventually came back, and it was later revealed that he was staying away in some little tiny village, an hour away from Gdańsk. And he couldn't really remember what he was doing there, or who he went there with. He also couldn't remember why he made over 100 phone calls during this time. Of course, his friends, they don't remember either. They just remember they were chilling that night on some benches near the park, and that's it. Another interesting fact that made Patrick really suspicious to the police, to everyone. About a week before Iwona's disappearance, Iwona was coming back from a party or somewhere. I think it was near that park again. They were coming back and they came across Patrick's friends, and the guys had an argue, and I think Iwona tried to separate them, and I'm guessing by accident she was struck, I think, in the face. And Patrick knew about it. He admitted it to the police. He said Iwona called him either straight after or in the morning to tell him about this. He was also confirmed by this friend that Iwona was with that night. Nothing else really came out of it, but it does kind of add to this level of suspicion for him that there were some tensions, not only with him, but also with his friends. Another really significant lead, it was a major lead for years, was the mysterious man with a towel. So as we can see on the footage of the Iwona, in the last footage that we can see Iwona, there's a man walking just a few meters behind her. He's heading in the same direction, and since this is the last confirmed sighting of Iwona, it was really important for the police to speak with him. Perhaps he could say which way Iwona went exactly, and that could help to narrow down the last location of Iwona as well. Unfortunately, they couldn't find him. There were photos of him circulated in the media, but no one came forward until about 2 years ago, when police released another footage with the face of this man, and a man came forward saying that he thinks it's him. I don't know exactly what else he told it to police, but the official report says that he didn't know anything, and it didn't bring anything new to the investigation. They didn't explain why he didn't come forward earlier on, because you need to understand that his face and this case, everyone in Poland knew about it. So it's not like you didn't hear. So I find it so strange because the quality is pretty bad. But I think if you've seen this footage of yourself in a very, like, shortly after, maybe not like a years after, but just few months even after you've been there, kind of knowing you were in the city, even as a tourist, around this time, and you were partying at night, I think most people would think of like, oh yeah, I was out and about. Like, maybe I don't remember if it was exactly this night, but I don't know, even just to come forward to the police saying that might be me and I don't remember, but he never actually came forward before this. I don't know, maybe it's something to do with his day job. He is known to earn money providing entertainment for tourists in this game of free caps. The game that it's impossible to win. So maybe that has something to do with it. In any case, that major lead went nowhere. For years, people were talking about the mysterious towel man and that maybe he has some answers. And after 12 years, it finally turned out that it's nothing as well. One of Iwona's friends testified that she seen an envelope full of cash in Iwona's dresser. And when she asked Iwona about it, Iwona said that it's from her bio dad. The parents of Iwona testified to the police that there is no way she could have that money from her dad because, first of all, he wasn't really active in her life, and second of all, he was not someone who could afford to give Iwona a large sum of money. They also couldn't explain how she could have that much money because she wasn't working, and they would just give her small amounts of pocket money, and normally she would just spend it straight away either on makeup, clothes, or parties. They didn't know, they weren't aware if she would be saving that money because they could see, if she was partying, that she had money to party. And if they gave her small amounts, it would be fairly easy to assume that she was not able to save such a large sum. It remains unclear whether the police found that money in Iwona's dresser after or not. There are no more mentions after in the investigation about the envelope or the money. So I'm assuming they probably did find it and that money was there, because I think if they didn't, there will be even more speculation about the fact that Iwona ran away on her own accord. And even the police doesn't really go that direction. During the investigation, Iwona was said to be seen around the man who was linked with certain illegal activities. It wasn't fully confirmed. It was speculated earlier on in the investigation that it wasn't the first time Iwona was in a dream club. Some of the people working there said they've seen her around, despite Iwona telling her family and friends that's her first time. And because those people and this club had pretty bad opinion and they had certain connections, it's as always, when there's like a young woman missing or something happens to her, there are always this kind of gossip theories that perhaps she was working there in certain ways. That would explain that envelope full of cash. This is not confirmed at all, but those people, I think it's worth mentioning right now, it didn't come up until years later. I think it happened about 2 years ago. The owner of the Dream Club and several other people involved in his businesses, like his right hand and driver and the main security guy, they got arrested for quite serious, well, at first allegations, but they got convicted, so it is confirmed. A lot of few different things, some of them very, very serious, including crimes against minors. While this was happening, the new club, new venue that this owner opened, called Zatoka Sztuki, it was opened years. The building actually was built few years after Iwona already disappeared. And despite this, the building was shut down and it was fully searched. Like they were digging outside, the whole building was searched and they were digging outside. The building was kind of like at the beach. I think it was a club with a restaurant, like a rooftop club, and it had some hotel rooms as well. And it was super popular with a lot of celebrities from Poland as well. It didn't look super fancy, but it was right at the beach and it had a full-on beach access. So it was really popular place. So right now this place is fully closed down because of the investigation. It just the business didn't really pick up after this. It was official that they do search this place in relation to Iwona Wieczorek investigation. A lot of people found it really weird because that building didn't even exist when she went missing. Some people speculated that perhaps they just kind of smacked Iwona's name on it to get a warrant to search the premises, because those two guys, the investigation against them was probably going on for a really long time, and because there was this slight connection, at least in public there was a slight connection between Iwona and those people. And I'm guessing unofficially, because we don't know everything, perhaps police had even more to connect those cases. And even if they didn't have anything to do with Iwona's disappearance, it perhaps was enough to kind of open the way for the police to continue with their other investigation against those people. So as I said, there was really serious crimes that they committed. And there was even a priest who was helping the victims of those men. The priest actually took his own life as well before those guys got arrested. In really suspicious, maybe not really suspicious circumstances, but it was also a little bit people around him struggled to believe that he did it on his own. So there was no investigation further into his death, but he was helping the victims of the men. He was also apparently, he talked with some city official. I could not find exactly who, but someone important. And he did say that one of the girls that he was helping mentioned something, that they have some information about Iwona Wieczorek. But he didn't tell him what. That guy didn't push him to tell him. He did say he should go to the police. And I don't know if that priest was planning on it or if he did maybe. But soon after, really soon after this conversation, he was found dead. That lead was left unresolved as well. And the two men since then have been arrested and prosecuted. And I think they're both in jail right now. This kind of got left as well because it's almost, at this point, it's a separate investigation into other cases. We don't know officially if they are linked at all with Iwona or not. So in 2017, another significant fury emerged surrounding the bin truck, the cleaning truck that was cleaning out the bins in the park the night of Iwona's disappearance. It was a small truck with 3 workers, and when the police interviewed them, their accounts didn't quite align. So according to their statements, they were just passing all the little bins. It was one of those small trucks that has 3 seats in the front, and it's the back, the very back, it's open, and you just pick up the bin and you throw it, the contents of the bin in the back. It wasn't one of those big electric machines, just a very small, simple truck that can fit on all the little roads in the park as well. One of the workers claimed that he did seen Iwona sitting on a bench with the man with the towel and just talking. That's it. The other ones said that they never seen anything like this. One of the workers claimed that he was the one driving the car the whole time and he never even left the car. Other two were walking along the car and they were emptying the bins. He was always behind the wheel. Now, a criminal analyst from the detective group that released this theory, actually, that was an agency that made like a short documentary about Iwona Wieczorek in 2017. They got a lot of documents that were previously not released to the public, and they had their own criminal analysts and other specialists reviewing all those documents. And their criminal analyst suggested that the driver seen Iwona and he approached her in less than friendly manner, and something came out of it, and the driver did something. The rest of the guys got also involved, and something happened to Iwona and she got hurt. So an interesting detail that this criminal analyst also mentioned is that in the surveilling footage, you can see the driver that said that he never left the truck. You can see him just walking off somewhere off camera. And meanwhile, the truck changes its designated route and it goes in a different part of the park that wasn't meant to go. It also goes in the parts of the park they already cleaned. We can see the car back on some surveillance footage around 5 a.m. It's supposed to be passing a bench where there's some people sitting. Instead of just passing them, they stop a little bit earlier and they pretend to empty another bin that was already emptied, and they don't resume their route until those people on the bench leave. So that's a little bit weird. Then we can see a footage of the truck. It's supposed to go straight and just follow the main road, but there's a bus on the right side stopped at the bus stop with a driver inside, and the cleaning truck goes on the pavement and just parks there and waits. And that was the moment this detective agency and their criminal analyst find the most suspicious, because it almost seemed like the truck is scared to pass someone so someone behind them could see inside. For example, driver in the bus sits a little bit higher, so he would have a very good look into the back of the truck where all the rubbish is. So they park there and they don't start the car until the bus leaves. As soon as the bus leaves, they leave as well. And the criminal analyst claims that during this time when that truck is parked there, that they could see in one of the frames the missing driver of the car, the one that disappeared of the surveillance footage at first. They say they can see him sitting in the back of the truck, like on the rubbish. And after using a lot of filters and masks and playing in the editing software with the footage, they claim that they can also see another human, that they can see Iwona's face lying in the rubbish. And I agree here, like the whole thing could really make a lot of sense. It would make sense that Iwona's the path she was taking would take her across the bin truck. Something happened, they're trying to cover it up, they throw her in the truck, then they try to leave the park without being seen by any other witnesses. They go off the designated road, they find one of the paths near the more dense forest. There is, I mentioned before, there's a lake, like a small pond, but there are also some access points to like water filtration systems or something like this. So there are few places where one could try to get rid of a body. So it does kind of make sense, but their evidence to it, it's really, really stretched. I'm not sure if you guys can see anything. For me, when I look at that footage, I kind of, like my brain does push it that I can see like an outline of a man sitting in there. But the part of seeing Iwona's face, for me, that's a big stretch, which doesn't change the fact that it could still be there covered under some rubbish. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you see something, or is it sometimes when you stare at something, like the thing with those videos or photos where someone tells you like look in a red circle, and you expect to see something specific, your brain does show it to you. Like you actually start seeing it. So I'm curious, what do you think about this? If you can see anything in there, and if this theory is a bit too far-fetched for you or not. The police did release after this an official statement that the documents this agency presented were documents they had from them, and they did already review this, and they don't believe that this could lead anywhere, that they don't take this under consideration. So this is the police stand on this as well. So I think this is the good moment to stop. We'll continue with the rest of the theories in part 2. I still have a lot to tell you about this case, and let me know what you think so far. If there's anything like really standing out to you. I still will want to talk about Pavel, the guy that she was out with that night. There was a big thing about him. There's some bits about police work and a mysterious police officer as well. So there's still quite a lot of details to go over. But for now, I will finish it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to read your comments. And if you would like to see more videos and deep dives into the true crime with me, please subscribe. And I will see you next time in part 2.